Hello.
Hello and welcome
2024.
Welcome back to the Bible Study Girl podcast. My name is Sarita, but you might know me as Bible Study Girl, and the ridiculous introduction that you received was from the executive producer of this podcast, Bible Study Brother. Also, let me say this. I've been surprising him lately with my introductions, and now he's trying to return the favor, but whatever. Take it away, brother.
It is I, Bible Study Brother, but I'm also known as Icarus Gray, a red gray area anime, but this is the most wonderful podcast of your day. Happy 2024 to all of you people. Make sure you hit up all of our socials down in the links in the description. We would like to engage and connect with you and build a community of believers in the BSG, because we all believe in God.
All right. Those rap skills coming to use as we get ready to wrap up the year 2023.
Ribbity rap.
First, giving honor to God. I would say he's the head of my life, but if he was, I would act like it more often. He's up there though, and I'm doing my best. Kind of, sort of. Anybody feel me?
So here, guys, we're here to do a recap of our 2023 and also give our I like to call them our inaugural prophetic statements of the year as to what we see happening with the podcast and life and all of that. So yeah, I am super duper excited to do this episode. We're going to go through like our favorite episodes, or at least talk about them. I'm not like all that. Y'all can get that. I promise you that next year y'all will get the extra editing of me going back through after we'll have picked favorite episodes before this. So I'll go back, chop, put that there and all that other stuff.
Oh, look at this prophet prophesying.
Yeah.
Continue.
But yeah, that's later work, because y'all are going to help us grow this year to where I can like do this for real. So
I mean, you can do it for real right now, brother.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for this episode. So tell
I'm
me.
not saying for this episode, but okay, I'm gonna let you. I'm sitting back in my host chair. Can I say that is one prophecy I see coming to pass this 2024? I see you truly taking the reins as the executive producer and shooting me lots of ideas, and me being like, I'm not doing that, and finally coming upon things that I'm willing to do.
We already know the journey that this will be. But yeah, so you wanted to do our favorite episodes, you said?
Just a recap of the year as a whole for Bible Study Girl. Some of our favorite podcasts that we've done over the past year. It's been a full calendar year, no weeks off, 52 episodes. So out of those, there have to be some that caught your attention. And I think it would be a great way for us to point the audience to podcasts maybe that they've missed. It'll give them an opportunity to go back and listen and see if they can get something out of the episodes that spoke the most to us. And also just a general recap of the year. Growing up, me and my bestie, we would every year go at the end of the year, we would go month by month and do like a recap, like what happened in January of this year, and just kind of go through our year and see how our year had went and how our year had gone. And after we lost touch with each other, that's a tradition I kind of stopped doing, but I like it because so much changes in a year. So many different things happen in 1 year's time, and it's easy to forget all that you've gone through or experienced in a year. And it can be fun. It can also be bittersweet to like go through the year and see what all has gone through the year. So that's what I want the Bible Study Girl podcast team to do this year. Wrap up 2023, put a bow on it. And like you said, talk about what is to come, or what we think is to come for us in 2024. You want to start with your episode, or you want me?
I'm just looking at this work. Like, we really did not miss a week. Like, what's funny is God is funny in this way, because I always talk about your blog. about there's blog posts every day, but there's podcasts every week.
Every week. We do not miss with the podcast. I have been very diligent and faithful in making sure that comes out on a consistent basis. Even if my writing doesn't happen on a consistent basis, I feel like there's definitely a space for us in the podcast world. A lot of times I think people feel like the podcast world is oversaturated because there are a lot of different podcasts out there, but I feel like you and I both have unique stories. And I think, like I told you when you went into ministry, like there's room for you. And I feel like there's room for us. And so I want to be obedient in that area and making sure that we sit down every week and produce something that's quality, not just do something, but produce something that's quality, because I feel like there is a potential to help change lives. I tell this story quite often. I will continue to tell it. There's a lady that shared a story about her personal life and her struggles as an adult woman who had survived childhood sexual abuse. And she shared that story in a place that was not necessarily, she was there selling makeup, but she shared that story and talked about the free 3-day workshop that she went to. Like, you stay there, they feed you, and you get counseling and you get tools. And it was a free opportunity. How would my life be different if I hadn't heard her story? And so that's why I'm committed to showing up every week, even on weeks I don't feel like it, even when I am tired or overworked, because I don't want to be the reason somebody misses out on something. I will say my heart is to be more dedicated to writing blogs, even if all I do every week is the sermon recap. It's so hard when you get out of practice of doing those things. And so I will say that's something I foresee for 2024 for me personally, is being more dedicated with doing my sermon recaps, because I do feel like that has the potential to help a lot of people, because my sermons every week, they feed me, they help me. And I just need to get back committed, back focused, as I am committed and focused with this podcast, as my brother will tell you, because I ride him. Like, listen, this is what we're doing. Amen. Amen.
Amen. That's all I can say. So we've done so much, but I do have two very glaring episodes. So let me go ahead and get, because I got to get the number just so y'all know where, or at least the name of it. So my first favorite episode, the Lukey episode.
Okay. That is an episode that was produced by you.
Yep. Came out on episode 104. Came out on February 25th, 2023. Dog. Like, just our cousin and his stories are unparalleled. Like, the only other episode that even comes close is Grandma's two-parter.
Grandma is a hoot and a holler and hilarious. Yeah. I agree and concur.
That would have been my 2022, like, one of my favorites there. But, like, yeah.
Was Grandma 2022? She might have been 2021. No, she definitely wasn't 2022. She had to be 2020. 2020.
2020, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to be 2020.
Oh, yeah, because that's when we were trying to collect the Infinity Stones, basically, when we were initially trying to get everybody on the podcast.
I'm grateful that he was willing to come and be on the podcast, because the little backstory to that is he was actually scheduled to record his podcast on the day that our aunt passed away. He was coming to Little Rock to record the podcast. Yes, this was before we were like on Zoom and stuff. This was before we had even thought to do it on Zoom. And so he was coming in person, and like
really excited, because
really excited. And I think it all worked out that he was able to be here, but he had that was a crazy day. So yeah, it is good that we were able to all get together and really talk about his story. And yeah, that was a good one.
All right. So your pick?
I'm going to say one of the first episodes that we had in 2023 was the Bible Study Girl. So that's always going to have to be a favorite. If the Bible Study Girls have graced us with presence.
Nuts. Listen, nuts, bro.
The
Like, that
Bible
was
Study Girl
crazy.
episode is episode 99 and a half. Won't do. And I felt like it was just so perfect that it was episode 99 of the Bible Study Girl podcast. It debuted on January the 14th of 2023. If you are just now starting to listen to the podcast, so years ago, when I first moved back to Little Rock after living away, I felt this pull and a tug in my spirit. And really, that pull and that tug started when I was in college. I wanted a group of girls. I wanted to do like Bible study, not like an ongoing thing, but I wanted to have like a Bible study with people that were my age and kind of walking as I was walking. I needed to know more about the Bible. I was curious, right? So I moved back. I sent out an email chain, an email blast to everybody I know. This is how you know it was back in the day. And I'm like, hey, I'm having Bible study in my house. This is the book we're going to do. Let me know if you're interested. We'll meet at this day, this time. You know, I have food and snacks and stuff. And so we initially, I can't remember how many people came initially, but we whittled down to a core group of 6 of us total. And that one Bible study that we started, we went for like 2 or 3 years. We would take minimal breaks, but we would do a different study every time we finished it. And we started a tradition where we would go on trips after we finished the study. But anyway, these are the ladies that I did life with. So when it was time, when I felt pulled to start a blog, I had a whole different name for the podcast. I'm sorry, not podcast, because blog. Podcast was nowhere on my radar. I had a whole different name for the podcast, bought the web page, and it was only after I bought the web page that I thought to Google to see if anybody else was using the name, period. Because the web address was available. So I bought the web address. I was like, cool. But when I Googled it, there was somebody else they had like a podcast and they were doing it, but they just did not have the domain name. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. The lady told me, well, you need to come up with a new name like now. And Bible Study Girl is the only thing I could think of. Like, I was in a crunch and a bind. And so that group of 6 core ladies, we would call ourselves the Bible Study Girls because we studied the Bible together. And so we have lived life together. So I think you guys will really enjoy going back and listening to that episode. It was refreshing for us because all the members of the Bible Study Girls were there, minus Tamika. We were able also to tribute her in the episode. So it was a great episode. It was good to see everybody's faces, to hear everybody's voices, and to hear parts of everybody's story. So that's why that episode is like near and dear to my heart. It was a great way for us to get the new year started. I was thrilled. I was thrilled with that episode. It was good. I will say though, honestly, like when I reached out to them, I think another reason it's my favorite is because we had attempted it before, right? When Tamika was alive, but everybody didn't want to be on there. It was like, oh, I'm shy. You know, I don't want to do this.
I think we only had because we have an episode and it was like 3.
Yeah, it was 3 plus, it was 4 of us. The other 2 ladies did not want to participate. Yeah. And so the fact that everybody was like, yes. And when I say immediate yeses, I was like, wow.
Insane, bro. Insane. Like, I'm just letting y'all know, bro. Insane. I was like, this is crazy.
I literally cannot believe everybody said yes. And it is a great episode. I think you probably get to see a different side of me when you hear me talk to them, because they have a different, they really do know me and they have a very special place in my heart. So it is one of my favorite episodes of the year. It's unexpected, didn't think they would agree to it. So if you haven't listened, now is a great time. Go check it out. What's your other?
My last little pick is episode 133. Who Knows BSG Best, which came out 9/16/23. It was a lot of fun. I was cheated, but it was a lot of fun, and was great.
Who loves a good game show is me. We had a great time.
It was an amazing show. I was blessed to I love doing shows about who knows you and little quirky things that you have to really search and see if we paid attention. Because most of them answers are just what you feel, and we can argue with every answer we gave. We can argue for why it's still correct.
Correct. And I wanted the questions to be tricky, though. You know what I'm saying?
God,
you could argue either way, but when it got down to the core, guys, we wanted to
fight. I wanted to fight.
I wanted it to be difficult. I feel like I had a blast. Let
me tell y'all something. I ain't never been worried about my mama beating me in no game, ever, in anything. Because my mama's not the game person. My mama can beat me in singing. She is amazing. Depending on what she cooking, she can beat me in cooking in a lot of different things. But games, that just wasn't her bag. That's not something she wanted to do. That's not she is the experience lady. If it's an experience, she's all in. If it's let me tell y'all something else. Because the only other thing she could beat us in was strength. Because apparently she's the strongest person in the family, at least by the grip game, which I did not know my sister was the least of these.
I'm a lady. Okay.
She is definitely a lady. So, so that episode was my favorite just because we had so much fun. Learn more about you, which is always fun to me because as much time as we spend together talking and everything else, there's a lot that we don't know about each other because we've never asked about.
Right.
There's a bunch of college stories I'm sure you could tell me that I have no idea about. Same, or I ain't gonna say a bunch, but enough in regards to me.
Speaking of stories that you don't know, I'm going to say this. This is kind of off topic, but not really because it's a conversation I had with my mama today, our mom today. She was she said this, and I want to know if you think she's able to do this. She was saying that parents need to be able to realize that the things that their children did, they have to be able to let go of the things that their children did when they were teenagers, especially once they're adults. Don't hold it over their head and just realize they were learning and growing. Do you think our mom is able to do that?
No, we were talking about the car the other day and she was still mad at me.
Well, I was gonna say she's not able to do that, and I'm gonna tell you why I said that. Because my cousins, they were all at the house and they were like, okay, Sarita, tell us the story from your teenage years I was like, my mama's sitting right here. And I guarantee you, if I tell you a story from my teenage years,
listen, no. I'll do you one better. So we were all at mama's house one time. And we're not all, but it was me and Sarita. And I don't know how we were talking about this, but she said something similar. And we were like,
right,
okay, let's do it. So then we just started going. We went through the not even a quarter, not 10%, maybe 2% of the things we done in and around the house and in our teenage years. And she was just like, what? What? We didn't even get, and then she was just like, no, stop. I just don't.
So that is okay. But back to what you were saying. But I'm like, Mom, come on now, lady. I know better. I know better. But also, let me tell you, I told the story at the table. All of my cousins were like, well, I would have never done that. I can't believe you did that. And I'm like, it's bad, y'all. And Mama was like, what? So y'all are not ready for my real life stories. Okay?
Oh, no. Because we've lived life, it wasn't always saved. And I realized, I think we talked about this one episode as we as we go to your last episode and then give our prophetic thoughts for the year.
You keep saying prophet, but prophecy is your gift.
It's in you because you said a lot of things like in terms of confirmation, in terms of like your spirit is normally always centered in a way that like whatever prophecy you think I'm gonna have, you were already thinking about it anyway. It was already boiling up in your spirit, which says to me that you do have more prophecy. You're just in a place of feeling like you can't in a certain way because there are so many prophets, or there were, Tamika was the prophet of all prophets in terms of prophetic visions for people's lives and being a praying person. And I just think sometimes you don't see yourself that way. But
well, since you say Tamika was the prophets of all prophets, she said that to me several times, and not too long before she passed, because I delivered that talking that Sunday.
Yeah.
And she was like, you don't see what God has for you. Like he's got you don't see it.
Prime example, bro. Even though you were being a munch, not an Ice Spice munch, but being a munch, because I don't want to say what kind of
I
munch
don't even know what that means. But go ahead.
Don't worry about it. the viewers know, and know that I'm not saying
the viewers, listeners, because can't nobody see this.
They can see me.
They can't see this right now, because if they could, I would comb my hair. Go ahead.
When my now wife was back in town, it hadn't even been. We wasn't official at this time.
But I knew.
And but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. And you did know. Like a lot of times I will fuss at you because you can be uber petty with me.
I am petty. Maybe that's why you couldn't receive it. I'm like, y'all get married. Like, hands down. Like, y'all get married. And you were so mad. Why are you mad?
Well, at the time, I wanted to be able to make a decision, and it didn't feel like I was making a decision.
I just knew. I'm like, y'all get married.
So it just didn't feel like that. Like, because when you say stuff like that, because at this point we hadn't had a conversation about you being a sibling versus a parent, so you would say stuff, and it just felt like this controlling, I'm gonna have to do it kind of thing.
You didn't have to do anything. I knew it was gonna happen though.
So long story less long, there's a huge gift of prophecy in you because you said a lot of stuff, man, like conversations and confirmation of, you said it earlier, my gift in the church was something that if you had not allowed God to speak through you to you, and the fact that there's room for me, and, you being able to see the path and the light, at least in me preaching and everything, I don't think I would have been able to do it because knowing that God and light of being like, yeah, funny. So since
I think the issue is my delivery. Huh?
Oh yeah, you suck.
My delivery as your sister.
You suck. Like that one was the best because, like I tell people this all the time. The reason why I was able to read is because when she said it to me, fam, she wasn't being petty. She wasn't laughing. There was not a hint of joke in her voice. Like every even like hint of how she could have said it, because she could have said it with a biting response at the end or one of those like, but hey, whatever. Like, no, it was literally like, there's room for you in the pulpit. And I'm like,
it was not that deep and sober. It was just like
it was that sober. It might not have been that deep, but it was sober.
That's how you received it.
How do you think you said it? No. How do you think you said it? Let's do this. How do you think you said it?
I'm finna say it. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait. I can't look at you because we were in the car.
Yeah,
I was making a left onto University.
Yeah.
We were getting ready to pass McDonald's. I remember. Yeah. And I said to you, there's room for you in the pulpit. Boom. It wasn't like...
See how straight and dry that was? Like nothing else. It's just like... Because normally, this is how she would say stuff. When she was like, I mean, y'all gonna get married.
Yeah.
And you see how like... But I'm just saying. And she like doubles down, which is always what makes me the most upset about not just my sister, but also my little sister. Which is like where they act like they can't hear themselves. They know what they're doing. And it's just like, stop doubling down. Why are you doubling down on this?
I can be a double downer and very, I recognize that about myself. Yes.
Ooh. But yeah, that was one of those clear moments. Anyway, what's your favorite, your last favorite episode?
Again, you spread yours out over the year, but I'm going to say 100, which is our
Really?
first visual YouTube podcast. It was a big step outside of my comfort zone. Um, so I started off by letting y'all know that podcasting was never a vision of mine. It was never something I ever thought I would do. And the podcast has been life changing for me personally, even though I am committed to trying to share my story and share the stories of others to help other people. I don't think I really I did not realize. I know I did not realize just the profound impact the podcast will have on me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So to step into another area that is not something I ever saw for myself, not something I ever wanted, is a big deal for me because it is me letting go of my plans and what I think is best and leaning and depending on God and following his voice and his direction. And so that is why our first visual podcast episode is so important to me and why it sticks out so much to me. Like I said, that is episode 100. It came out on January 21st, 2023. I feel like the year just started off very strongly. We were pressing and pushing. I think I'm not even going to say there was a lot of excitement. I had a lot of apprehension. And again, I was very, very nervous because Sarita on camera is not comfortable. The last time I was on camera, sweating bullets. Do you hear me?
That's
Like,
funny. No one would know. Like, these are things that she's telling herself internally because nobody would know that. Because the consensus for those that did actually watch the video, which you can see at the link down in the description because it's not a whole lot of content up there. Now it is there are 40 shorts for
purpose
the
driven life.
Purpose Driven Life. Thank you. But we also have the episode up there. And for those that watched it, they were like, y'all's chemistry is it's just there. And they enjoyed that aspect of how silly we were being because it was funny. It was a funny day.
Funny, and we were truly ourselves. And so yeah, it was me getting outside of what's comfortable for me, to do what I feel like I need to do and what needs to be done. So that is why it's one of my favorite episodes as well. Like it was a real big stretch. And also, yeah, it was a big stretch.
But it was fun. Like that probably would have been like in my top 5 or top 10. It probably would have been like closer to like 9 or 10, but that's more so just because of my nervousness with trying to edit and figure out like how to present this best, and having like real big blocks in my head of like how do I know how to promote everything else but this because I don't normally ingest this type of content. Like I'll ingest like people who are Christians who do all around content, but not like us who are trying to be faith based. Like I don't watch too much of that because that's just a different lane that I don't know how to like access. Because in this lane, you see, like Michael Todd and other people who Jackie Hill Perry and Preston Perry and them. Whereas we're kind of like a Bible study, if I'm just being 100%, like either we're doing a breakdown of something we see in churches that we want you to like be free from, or we're telling you testimonies of our personal lives to show you how good God has been to us, or we're just being silly and inviting you into like our lives so you can know that we're real people, because it's very important for us to show the authenticity of the fact that like we don't get it right 100% of the time, and that's okay, but we're still striving to be better. So that's a lot of why I appreciated doing the episode, because we were so excited to kind of take another step.
Were we? No, we were.
We were like, and that was fun that day. Like even laughing at uh Kanae and her levels of energy and everything else that was going on that day. Fitz being Fitz. It was like the perfect combination of all these different things. So
I was gonna say, I think it's the perfect representation of us as a
yes.
unit, who we are.
Yes.
It is 100%. This is us, man. Take it or leave it.
Because we are us, but like us together is still always going to be different.
Yeah.
Because then I can like play off of her full energy versus like she can say whatever she want to say right now, and I can't get to her, and vice versa. Like,
Correct. Our energy is definitely different when we're in the room together.
So for the year, I'm going to talk to y'all about what I expect for the year, what I enjoyed about this year as a whole, and then I'm going to let you end on yours, and then we'll just end this out. So,
Okay.
biggest thing I learned from this year: boundaries are essential. Now, granted, Lord have mercy, I never want to do a book that long again. Not that way, because good God, them
As a
episodes
recap, yeah.
are so hard. I see why like people do book breakdowns, but they clarify on the front end because this book was so personal all in throughout our lives that it was like shifting, changing, allowing me to see different things in life, allowing even more healing from our situation to beyond. Because I was able to be like, oh, I'm supposed to own this. I'm supposed to care about this. This is not something that they have to care about. This is not something that I have to give the time to like try and bridge some gap. There isn't a gap to be bridged because the only person that is being affected is me. I'm choosing to be affected this way. I'm making a choice.
Right.
So on and so forth. And so that was really good for the year. And it just kind of like spoke this thing of like building better boundaries, building godly boundaries, and being godly encouraging. Because with how we were raised and how our family setting is, like a lot of times you can probably say something that would be encouraging if it came from a different person and if it came in a different packaging. Because a lot of times we might tell somebody, hey, you need to say somebody comes around in the family and they're not smelling quite right or something like that. Instead of just saying like, hey, bro, I got you, da 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 da, like, you know, take you some time. I'm pretty sure you be running around, blah, blah, blah. Whoop, whoop. Instead of being like, bro, woo, what's going on over there, bro? Like, you need some help. You need some help. You need somebody to, you know, buy you, da, da, da. You know, like, so I think that boundaries help like shift to actually being encouraging versus judgmental and all these different things. So that was one of the things that I like really enjoyed. And what I want to prophesy over for the year is once more, I do know that the YouTube channel is going to grow. And this first time I've done this, I'm going to, like, much like my sister keeps saying every episode, I am going to be the executive producer I need to be in regards to like our episodes that aren't recaps of blog posts and really kind of bring us to an excellence that I know that we can be at. Bring even better podcast episodes for you guys so you can like connect with us. And we're going to really build this community to a place that I could never have imagined. And we are thankful for you guys in advance.
All right. So not too long ago, I had a man prophesy to me. I'm gonna tell you what he said. And these are not my words. So, because you know, I told you I don't know necessarily that prophecy is one of my gifts. I feel like I be knowing stuff, but anyway. So these are not my words. This is just what he said, and we'll see if these things come to pass in 2024. But this is what he said to me. So I'm gonna tell this. Did I tell you? I told you my prophecy story, didn't I?
I think so.
So I visited a church, right? And I am very like, I don't want everybody touching me. I don't want everybody praying for me. You know, like I like to protect my energy and my space. So I'm at the church, right? First time visiting. And one of the mothers of the church comes over to me and she puts her arms around me and she's like, God told me to tell you to let Pastor pray for you. Well, see, the God I serve knows me. He knows that's not really a good way to get me to come for prayer. I am, like I said, I like to, first of all, sit in the back of the church because I like to be as far to, I don't want to be seen, right? Just, I don't want you to see me. So anyway, I visited the church again, right? Oh, because do y'all think I went up there for prayer? I told her, I said, oh, well, I don't know if I told her I'd pray about it or I think about it. And she was like, I'll walk with you. I was like, okay, I'll think about it. Like, I'll get back to you. Because that meant no. I should have just been like, mm-mm. And so I visited the church again, probably maybe a month later. And see, this is how you have to get me.
Go ahead, tell him.
So the pastor from the front of the church says, can I pray for you? He pointed at me. But mama said, no, you did. Yes, I did. I said, me? He said, yeah. Like, mom was like, no, you did. Yes, I did, girl. Listen, honey. I was like, oh, but I went up there. So anyway, he prayed for me. And what he told me was that he told me several things. He told me the past couple years have been very hard for me, which I didn't know this man. This is a very true statement. I'm like, okay, fair. This is true. Mm-hmm. I've had a rough couple years. Okay. And then he told me that like my breakthrough is really tied up in my obedience and opening my mouth. Now, I laughed when he said this. You want to know why I laughed when he said this? Because just that week, I had gotten a phone call and somebody asked me to come speak at their church. And I told the person yes, even though, because I know I'm well able and I'm well capable. Again, I like to be in the back, but I told the person yes. So for me, for him to say that, I just told this person, yes, I will come speak at your church. For me personally, that was confirmation. Like, I need to open up on my mouth and say what God has for me to say. So I laughed when he said that. And he said, why you laughing? I'm telling the truth. And I wanted to be like, sir, I agree with what you said. I do believe, because like I said, for me personally, that was confirmation that God wants me to open up my mouth and speak and say what he has for me to say, right? Okay. He also told me that 2024 would be a year of yes for me. Like, whatever I ask the Lord for, he's going to deliver it. And I just need to open up my mouth and ask God. And he's going to, whatever it is I want, just say it. And it's coming. He also told me that I'm very worried about taking care of other people and making sure that other people are doing well. But I need to focus on me and making sure that I have what I need. What else did he tell me? He told me some other stuff too that I don't necessarily want to share, but I felt like it was, I mean, I don't know, because I don't know about the Lord on whatever it is. He was like, you ain't gonna even be able to believe it, but whatever you ask for, this is your year, yes. So we shall see, people. I gave you his prophecy, not mine, and we'll see.
What's yours? Do you have one? Or something you want from the podcast? Or just even outside of it?
I want lives to be changed. I want people to come to know Christ because we've been open and transparent. And I want other people to be willing to come and share their stories. That's something that's really important to me. I think I'm gonna tell you one reason why I really, really wanted to do Bible study with all the Bible study girls is because, growing up in the church, quite often when you're around church groups and you in a church Bible study, you feel crazy if you don't give what's considered like a good answer to a question, right? Or you don't give what thus saith the Lord, and you feel crazy when you're vulnerable and you say how you're really feeling in that moment, right? And so I loved my Bible study girl community because we were able to cry, we were able to be real, we were able to say, I really don't understand this. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. And God met us there. And so that's my hope and my prayer for this podcast, that this will be a place where God meets us every week and where He's answering people's questions and He's showing people that your Christian life is not going to be perfect. The walk is not going to be perfect, but there's room for growth and there's room for grace and all those things. So that's always my prayer with the podcast, that people's lives are literally being changed, that people are being set free, people are being delivered, people are coming to know the true and living Christ, right? That they can look past everything that's wrong with me and everything that's wrong with you and see God. So that's my hope, my prayer. Because I'm telling you, like, when that lady shared her story, that lady didn't know me. I keep harping on it, but that was like a pivotal turning point in my life 4 years ago when that lady shared her story. She shared her story in October, and in December of that same year, God blessed me, and I was able to go to that workshop. Like, it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen that fast unless God has His hand in it. And it was a meeting and the counseling and the help and the tools that I needed to help me mentally, because I was struggling in so many different areas. And it's not a Christian-based organization. They do talk about faith there, but it's not like a specific to one faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, they talk about your faith system, whatever, overall, but God was able to use that to bless me and make such a positive impact on my life, lift some heavy stuff off of me. So that's my hope and my prayer for the Bible Study Girl podcast. I'm not doing it. Certainly we're not doing it for money. There is none. I pay money every month so that the message can go forth. But yeah, certainly my prayer is that lives will be changed. And if there is an avenue and a way to take the financial burden off of me, Lord, I definitely want that. But if not, this is just my monthly sacrifice, honey. It's why I have so many jobs. I'm juggling so many.
I almost forgot. I do see him again, growing the finances of the podcast and our ability to reach. I think that the blessing of provision can often be looked at in a very small scope because we over humble. So we'll humble ourselves in such a way that it's like, if you give me bread and water, I will be fine. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But also, do I not expect for you to do greater or do more things? Do I think so little of you that I think you're just going to give me bread and water?
Let me say this too. My prophecy, my expectation. You talked about Tamika and how she was a great prophet. The year before she died, she and I fasted all of 2020. Every month, we would fast for a week. Now, we didn't go into 2020 with that plan. It just happened like that. We fasted in January. And then just as the year, like every month, we'd be like, yeah, we need to fast again. We need to fast again, fast again. So we fasted for the whole year of 2020. And one thing that we were really praying for and hoping and believing God for was that God would blow our minds. So yeah, when you talk about just the bread and the water, I get it. I mean, that is still a prayer of mine. Like, God will blow my mind. And we were also looking, I'm gonna tell you too, why her death just really shook me up and hurt me like you wouldn't believe, because we spent a whole year praying and fasting and believing God to blow our minds and believing God for a miracle. And I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Glad you brought that up. I was thinking about this the other day as I was leaving church. We were praying and we were believing for a miracle. So, like I said, all of 2020, we did that. Go into 2021, January, she goes into the hospital. And I was thinking to myself, this is why we were praying for a miracle. Like, we didn't have a specific miracle in mind. We just knew that the God that we read about in the Bible was performing real deal miracles. And we personally hadn't seen a miracle like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we see miracles in different, but we wanted like a miracle. You know what I'm saying? And so when she got sick, I was believing, oh, this is why we were fasting and praying. This is the miracle God is going to show us, right? The doctors don't know what to do, but we serve a God that's a miracle worker, right? Mm-hmm. And then she died. So I guess I'm gonna say I have a hope and an expectation that we will see miracles, not just one, that we will see miracles and that God will blow our minds in 2024. You know, sometimes I get kind of iffy going into the new year. This episode is running long. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
But I mean, this is a recap of the year. Right. So y'all hold yours. And we got longer episodes, bro. We really do.
So going, you know, I get kind of iffy going into the new year because we went into 2021 expecting. Do you hear me?
No, listen. No. Listen, let's talk about that. So 2019 or 2020, excuse me. I was expecting like, okay, the Lord is about to like help me move, and like I'm gonna do an album, and like I'm gonna really start pursuing things in a real way. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I know that He's gonna open the door. And especially after this 2020, Lord, where you have like literally had me preach every time somebody passed at my church, you know, I've dealt with murder again this year, you know, during 2020 or whatever. And I'm like, Lord, what is, like, you know, I was on one of your strongest warriors list. I didn't, you know, fuss, groan, moan about any sermon I ever had to do. I was always ready to do it because I was just excited to preach the word and really dive in and kind of see what He wanted me to help glean and give a testimony on. And then it started, and it was like, I said, man. Hold up, what? Hold up, what? You know, like, and I'm thinking, okay, so January 1st, funny enough, I was just like, all right, well, here I go having to give another word in front of a death. All right, Jesus. I had to do that. And then that Sunday, or was it the Sunday after? It wasn't that far after.
No, it was that same week. It was literally the same week. It was the same week. She died on January the 7th.
So yeah, so I had to do
death on January 1st, death on January 7th. That next day we went to Kansas City for the funeral. Oh yeah,
then I came back and then I had to preach that Sunday.
Then you had to preach that Sunday. I don't know how you did it. God bless you.
So never mind. I thought there was a little bit more time. Yeah,
no, baby.
No, because I had done on the Star Wars. The watch night service. I had a little thing I had to do that people got to hear, and I was, you know, preaching on some stuff, and then I was like, that Sunday, and then bro, it was wild, the amount of like the sermons and what they were about, because I was like, oh God, you, like, now I can look at them and say like, okay, God, I'm grateful that those were the messages. At the time I'm like, what are you doing? What are you taking me through, Jesus? Like, this is what you want me to do? But yeah, y'all, no, we was expecting like a lot. Like, you know, at that point it was like, you know, we're planning for a family, not knowing, you know, there were complications in regards to that at the time, and not knowing that like we were gonna have to wait another 2 years before we even got to where we are now. Like expectations was that at an all-time high, and then the year came and it was like, whoo, oh Lord. But
yeah, so I'm always a little iffy, but I can say, I guess I can see the miracle in the fact that I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
here. I'm still
I'm
standing.
still here. I'm still here. I'm still standing, and that is a miracle.
Hold on, do you know what that's from?
Absolutely not. I figured it was from a movie or show, but
Antoine Fisher.
No, absolutely not. Never would have guessed. That's your favorite movie, ain't it?
No, Finding Forrester, dear.
Finding Forrester. Okay, yeah, close enough.
It is not. Two very different movies. Very different. Anyway,
so yeah, I gave you my. I'm expecting God to blow our minds. I want whatever He wants for me. And that's hard for me to say. You know, some people say that with expectancy and joy and like, but I've lived on the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, I want what God wants for me, and then what God wants for you is something very different than what you were expecting. So I say it with, oh Lord, knowing that no matter what it is, I can trust Him to carry me through it. No matter what it is. No matter what it is, I can. I promise y'all I can.
I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Babies, babies, babies for my sister and I. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what you see in 2024?
That's all I'm going to say.
That's
babies,
all you
babies,
see?
Babies, 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 natural birth babies.
So you think I'm getting married in 2024 is what you're saying?
I'm shooting a shot. Oh, I mean, I know you are. And what's funny is I'm going to get to mess with you how you mess with me.
Oh, so you being a prophet. I am getting married in 2024. This is it.
I'm shooting a shot. I mean, you off the market for real, for real. And like, for as much as you joke with me about who I married, you like, I'm just gonna ask you all the time. I don't know why you wanted to marry me, but apparently you did.
I don't want to marry you at all.
Apparently, okay, whatever you say.
Do not want to marry you at all. When you say stuff like that, it makes me want to be single. Okay.
I bet it does, but you know the facts are the facts, man. As you say often,
it makes me want to say, I forget this. Okay.
Anyway, y'all, we appreciate each and every one of you. Happy New Year to you. We'll be back in 2024. We might be back like a week after if we haven't like recorded an extra episode. So
we will be back on our regularly scheduled program. Executive producer is not executive producing because he already knows.
But I just wanted to give y'all a little suspense. Get out of here, you. But anyway.
There's no suspense. Also I think I've said this. I think I said it on the Thanksgiving episode, but I really do appreciate the fact that you guys tune in every week. You listen. You are a committed group of faithful listeners. It is always surprising to me whenever I do look at the numbers, like, people listen every week other than mama and grandma. But I'm gonna tell you, I think grandma hasn't been listening lately because I'm her technology person, and she's like, I haven't been able to listen to the podcast. So it's encouraging to know that it's not just my grandma, and mama probably haven't been listening either. Anyway, but there are other people out there that listen faithfully. So that's encouraging. And I really do, really, really, real deal, hope you guys are encouraged. If you want to share your story, please come. We love to talk about your faith journey, like the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, the funnies, the sads. If you have a book that you want to promote, come talk to us. We will, music, whatever. We're here.
Yeah, you know, just we're here and open. And you
just reach out to my executive producer. He sets it all up.
And you can find all of my contact information as well as Bible Study Girl's contact information down in the description. Wherever you like to engage, we have all those links down there. And remember, guys, it is not they, it is not just I, but we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching. Here's to 2024.
Cheers!
Cheers! Are you drinking some sparkling cider in the new year?
Of course.
Okay.